My husband sent his mother and sister to talk to me because I don't want to be a single mother to 3 kids. But now I don't want to be his wife either. Prologue 1 background. My sister, 33, and I, 30, aren't close. We don't hate each other. We catch up at birthdays, weddings, and similar events, but we're not tight. This is partly because we're very different, and partly because she never approved of my marriage. My husband is 12 years older, and we started dating when I was 18. My husband and his family never liked my sister because she's openly feminist and doesn't care about gender roles in marriage. But they managed to be civil, though my sister-in-law and my sister often clashed. My sister-in-law would make comments about marriage or my sister's appearance. My sister would respond sharply, and it often got messy. Now the issue. We hosted a birthday party for my son, and everyone, including my mother-in-law and sister-in-law, was there. I had a headache and was upstairs when I heard my mother-in-law and husband arguing. He stormed into our room, saying my sister called his sister a slut, said she was ugly and fat, and then left. He demanded she apologize. I said she didn't say that. It's not her language. She wouldn't use such derogatory terms for another woman, and she's never done so before. I know she can be blunt and rude when challenged, but this is out of character. He said his mother was there and heard everything, and I said then she lied. He called me an idiot for assuming his mother was a liar when I wasn't there, pointing out I don't even like my sister and get along better with his mother, which is true. So how could I say that? He's been on the phone with his mother and sister all day, making me feel like a complete fool. The only reason I assume my mother-in-law was lying is because those insults sound more like something she or my sister-in-law would say, not my sister. Later, I spoke to my sister, who said she was setting up a swing in our backyard when my sister-in-law came over and said, "You're meddling in men's stuff again. You should be helping with the food." My sister laughed, told her to stop screwing around, grabbed her keys, and left with her husband. I didn't know this when I called my mother-in-law a liar. So am I the bad guy? My mother-in-law is now downplaying it, saying she might not have heard everything clearly since she wasn't that close, and my sister-in-law was crying when my sister left, so she wasn't coherent. My theory is my mother-in-law didn't hear anything and believed my sister-in-law, but I'm not sure. Prologue 2. This will be long, sorry. I have a sister. Let's call her Mandy. We grew up very poor in an unstable family. Our dad left when I was a baby. Our mom was abusive, but we had each other and leaned heavily on one another growing up. Somehow, we became very different people. I always wanted a husband, lots of kids, the white picket fence, the whole deal, while Mandy was more if it happens, it happens. I married young at 18, and now have 2 kids with my husband. Mandy got pregnant by her then boyfriend, who left her during pregnancy. She went through with it, and the father's not in the picture or on the birth certificate. I know she went through hell raising her son alone. Daycare, work, keeping the house clean, cooking, all of it. When her son was 6, she met a great guy, and after a year of dating, they married, almost 2 years ago now. Mandy is openly feminist, and so is her husband. They both work, share housework, go to clubs together and separately, and take vacations the same way. Her husband is raising her son as his own, and even wanted to adopt him legally, which Mandy declined. My husband is more traditional, which is why I admit I'm resentful of Mandy. If she's tired, Her husband makes her coffee and cleans the house. Mine says that's my job and won't lift a finger even when I'm sick. When she's sick, her husband brings her homemade soup, medicine, and pampers her lovingly. When they're both in the mood, they order takeout, build a pillow fort, and watch movies with her son. I'm expected to cook every meal, no matter how my day went or how I feel. I have to beg my husband to occasionally show up at school for his own kids. He comments that Mandy takes better care of herself than I do, sometimes criticizing her for it, which is true. She goes to the gym, jogs in the morning, gets her nails done, and regularly gets her hair styled. I can't do any of that. Who'd watch the kids or the house? She can because her husband helps. When Mandy had the altercation with my sister-in-law, her husband immediately took her side, right or wrong. My husband would probably tell me to stop being childish and apologize. I know Mandy doesn't deserve this, but I'm starting to hate her. She's been nothing but supportive, except about my marriage. She doesn't like my husband but stays civil with him and his family for my sake. I just want to cry when I see how different our lives are. I hate feeling this way, like the worst person in the world. I know it's a husband problem. Even if I try to get childcare, he'd get mad that I'm not with the kids. Why do I hate my sister? I don't know. I feel like dissecting my marriage would lead to divorce, and that scares me. Main post. My husband, 42, and I, 31, have been married 12 years with 2 kids, 8 and 4. Our marriage isn't good. His mother and sister often give unsolicited advice about my parenting, marriage, and life in general. It's gotten better recently after I sat him down multiple times, talked, and he listened, so they've backed off. Not completely, but things are better. In recent weeks, he's been pushing for a 3rd child, which fills me with dread. I love kids and always wanted a big family, but it's too much. I cook, clean, care for the kids, and work part-time from home. He doesn't help with the house, which I'm okay with, or the kids, which is a problem. I changed all the diapers, woke up at night, handled fevers, doctor appointments, school, games, everything. The idea of another pregnancy and caring for a baby makes me want to cry. I'd be doing it practically alone because, to him, men provide. Women have done this for centuries, and I need to do my part and not be spoiled. It all came to a head last night. After another monologue about how he takes such good care of me and the kids, and we should have a 3rd, I snapped. I told him he doesn't. Our kids barely know him because he ignores them when he gets home, except to shush our daughter for being loud. He doesn't know about our days because he doesn't ask, and I stopped telling him since he didn't listen. He's not the great father or husband he preaches, and I have no desire to be a single mother to a 3rd child. 2 is more than enough. He stared, mouth open, called me a delusional, ungrateful C-word, and stormed off to his mother's. So am I the bad guy? Update 1. Thanks for all the comments and advice. It means a lot. To clarify, my husband and I dated for 9 months, met, and married when I was 18. I turned 31 recently and can't imagine being attracted to, let alone marrying, an 18-year-old. It gives me chills. But back then, and for years, I didn't think that way. Whatever happens with my marriage, I'm not having another child. That's non-negotiable. I'm on birth control and don't plan on having sex anytime soon. I just can't. I called my sister Mandy, told her everything, and she came over with food, wine, and her husband. He took my kids to their house for a sleepover, and Mandy stayed with me. He's more worried about me than my actual husband. My husband is still at his parents', hasn't called or texted. My mother-in-law called, but I didn't answer. I'm too angry and sad to talk to her. I'll update when I speak to my husband and know what's next. Update 2. Thanks for your concern. Lots has happened. Short version. Things got ugly, but I'm safe and decided to divorce because my husband and I couldn't agree on what a marriage should be. Long version. The morning after my post, my mother-in-law and sister-in-law showed up at my house. My kids were at my sister's with my brother-in-law, and Mandy was with me. They expected me to be alone. We sat to talk, and I kept saying it made no sense. This should be between me and my husband. We're adults and married, and I saw no reason for their involvement. They were deeply offended. My mother-in-law said she doesn't understand what's wrong with me, that I'm not the girl her son married. I said, "Of course not. He married a teenager, and I'm a grown woman now." She turned red and started yelling, and Mandy threatened to call the police if she didn't calm down. After some insults about how I'm abusing her son and a bad mother, they left. My husband, let's call him Ray, showed up hours later, not to check on our kids or me, but to scold me for how I treated his mother. Mandy's presence changed his plan. He toned it down when she came downstairs. He demanded she leave. She refused, saying she'd go upstairs to let us talk but wouldn't leave unless I asked, which I didn't. He said I'm a bad wife, don't love him because I won't have more kids, and blamed him for it, that I shouldn't talk to him like that, and he's a great father. I asked, "What kids?" "The ones you haven't seen in 3 days and didn't ask about." He got mad when I said they were at Mandy's with her husband, calling them vile names I won't repeat. Our hour-long talk went in circles, unproductive. I was scared because he kept clenching his jaw and fists but calmed down quickly. I said if he's not willing to work on our marriage and thinks he's entirely right, we should divorce. At first, he said fine, if that's what I want, to pack and leave. I started packing, and he ranted about how I'd survive without him and couldn't wait to tell the kids why we're moving. I said the kids aren't going anywhere. They stay in the house, and the parent who stays takes care of them. He couldn't grasp it. I wasn't going to uproot their lives. Divorce is enough change. Then he switched, saying he was willing to listen, in quotes. I was so angry I thought a vein would burst. I said I don't care anymore. We're divorcing, and the only questions are logistics and our kids. To keep this shorter, it went in circles again. Then he grabbed my shoulders and shook me. Mandy intervened. They pushed each other. I called the police. We pushed him out and locked the door. He left before the police arrived. We gave statements, and I stayed in the house. I'm okay, but Mandy has scratches. I'm bombarded with messages from his family, nothing from him. I'm filing for divorce. I don't know why I thought this could end differently, but I'm glad I tried. I'm ashamed of how I spoke about Mandy in earlier posts. I was jealous, projecting my unhappiness onto her. She didn't deserve it. She's an amazing sister in person. Thanks for the incredible advice and encouragement. Internet strangers can be wonderful, and I'm grateful for you all. Update 3. It's been a while, and some asked if I'm okay, so here's an update. I'm officially divorced as of this morning. We signed papers days ago, and I got the certificate today. So much happened, I doubt people would believe it all, so I'll stick to the main points. After my post, Ray decided he wanted to work on our marriage and be a better husband to win me back. That mostly meant stalking me, constant calls from multiple numbers, sending flowers, chocolates, and candy. I don't even like candy, and showing up randomly where I go. We live in a small town of about 15,000, so it became the town gossip. It felt like everyone was talking about me. My ex-mother-in-law tried hard to paint me as mentally unstable and unpleasant, someone who suddenly decided to destroy a family. She confronted me at my nephew's birthday when I dropped off my son. She also tried saying bad things about me to my kids, but Ray stopped that. She did everything to make me feel awful while claiming she only wanted Ray and me to reconcile. I didn't want to cut her off from my kids, so I let them spend time with her, my ex-father-in-law, sister-in-law, and her kids. She took them to a park I find unsafe, old and rusty, and bought them shoes. It's a weird thing to be upset about, but I have childhood trauma about shoes needing to fit properly, and she did it intentionally to hurt me. I lost it when I picked them up, and they said they got new shoes. Everyone was there: mother-in-law, father-in-law, sister-in-law, brother-in-law, Ray. So I yelled at them all, calling my mother-in-law names I didn't know I knew. Ray a cowardly, useless excuse of a man. My father-in-law, useless houseplant, makes more sense in my language. And my sister-in-law, brave when gossiping but a doormat to her husband and mother. The kids were outside, so they knew we fought but didn't hear what was said. No one responded. They were shocked. I called Mandy on the way home because I couldn't drive, so I parked and waited. She picked me up, we put the kids to bed, and I cried for 5 hours straight. I hated what I'd become. Always sad or angry. Everything annoyed me. It was awful. The next time Ray cornered me at a supermarket, I threatened to call the police. When he kept stalking, I did. They warned him that next time he contacts me about anything but the kids, he'll spend a night in jail and face harassment charges. The officer, who I went to school with, gave me his personal number to report issues. I joined a community group Mandy started, cleaning parks, painting fences or benches, helping seniors with appointments or shopping. I began cleaning the house of an elderly woman with cancer who lives alone. She insisted on paying me. Combined with my part-time job and rent from a house Mandy and I inherited from our mom, which we split, I have a decent income. After many horrible, exhausting weeks, Ray agreed to divorce. I agreed not to seek alimony for myself if I keep the house with the kids, only child support. I don't want my kids to suffer, but it saddened me that they didn't seem to miss their dad. Their school therapist says they're fine, accepting the divorce as much as their age allows. We had many talks about what this means for them, me and Ray. They're good, well-adjusted kids, but it made me feel stupid and incompetent. What was I doing all these years? Doing everything for a man who was such a bad father his kids don't miss him. I started going out more, spending time with people, and it's great. Despite my ex-mother-in-law's efforts, it's hard to convince people I'm a bad person when many know me from childhood and also know my ex's family. That's it. I was confused and scared when I posted, but I'm so glad I did. Your advice and encouragement helped me see clearly, and I'm eternally grateful. I've considered therapy, mainly for the shoe issue, but life got in the way, and I've put it off. I'll try soon. About my ex-in-laws, I left out a lot to avoid a novel, but I know they won't leave me alone soon. If they harass me, I'll report them. It's all I can do. I'm not French, but European, and I'm glad the father-in-law joke works across languages. Update 4. Some context. I married young, was married 12 years, separated 7 months ago, and divorced 2 months ago with 2 kids. My ex-mother-in-law was always critical. Nothing I did was right. She criticized my body. Too skinny, then too fat when pregnant, accused me of an eating disorder for losing weight while breastfeeding, then repeated it with my second child. She also disliked my wardrobe, but thankfully my ex stopped her there. She can pry my dresses from my cold, dead hands. Yesterday, in our small town where we often run into each other, I saw her wearing my dress. Some of my things were left in a closet at her house from when we visited. I didn't ask for them back, but I didn't expect her to wear them. She called me childish for wearing such clothes in my late 20s, yet there she was in her 60s, wearing my dress, something she'd never worn before. It's unsettling and infuriating. Yes, it's just a dress. I didn't ask for it back, and I don't need it, but I can't describe how it feels. I texted my ex, basically saying, "What the hell? Has your mom lost it?" My sister says it's creepy, but my friend says it's just a dress, I shouldn't care, and maybe she did it on purpose. So I'm giving her what she wants. I don't see how it could be intentional. I didn't know I'd see her. Am I overreacting? To whoever suggested I text, "Hey, saw you wearing my old dress the other day. Gotta say, you looked a bit old and unflattering in it. It's really for the younger generation. Have a nice day. That's hilarious, thanks." I occasionally text my ex about mutual friends, but she's blocked, and sending that would open the floodgates, so I can't. But I needed the laugh.